Someone is playing dirty with you right now. They smile in your face while sharpening knives behind your back. They twist your words, drain your energy, and test your patience because they think you will do nothing. They think you are soft. They think you are blind. They think you are the kind of man who will swallow the disrespect, call it maturity, and move on like nothing happened. But you clicked on this for a reason. Something in you has already shifted. You are not here to complain. You are not here to cry about fairness. You are here because the old version of you has cost you enough. The version that got played. The version that got played. The version that got blindsided. The version that kept giving people mercy while they quietly took advantage of your restraint. That version dies here. What I am about to give you are 10 mental tricks forged from the coldest minds in history. Machiavelli did not write for the weak. He wrote for men willing to see the world as it is, not as they wish it were. This is not about revenge. This is about reconstruction. By the end of this, you will think differently, move differently, and respond to betrayal with a kind of calm precision that terrifies the people who thought they had you figured out. So lock in. And if you are serious about becoming the kind of man who cannot be rushed, rattled, or manipulated, subscribe now because this channel is built for that transformation. Trick number 1. Become unreadable. This is the foundation of everything that follows. Get this right, and the rest becomes cleaner, colder, easier. Get this wrong, and every manipulator around you keeps the same advantage they have always had. They can read you. They know when you are angry because your face tells on you. They know when you are hurt because your voice changes. They know when you are desperate because you start over-explaining yourself to people who never planned to understand you in the first place. And every one of those reactions is a gift. Every emotional leak is information. Every visible wound is an opening. Every reaction is a handle they can grab. Machiavelli understood something most men never will. The man who can be read can be led. Your emotions are data. And the moment you spill them freely, you become easy to control, easy to predict, easy to move. You become a puppet tied to strings you cannot even see. So starting today, train yourself to become a wall. Not cold for the sake of being cold, controlled for the sake of being free. When someone insults you, do not flinch. When someone provokes you, let your expressions stay still. When someone tries to bait you into reacting, look at them the way a lion looks at an insect. No urgency, no emotion, no need to prove anything. This is not about pretending. This is about building something real inside yourself, an inner fortress, a private room no one enters without permission. Practice it in small moments first. When someone cuts you off in conversation, pause instead of fighting for the floor. When someone disrespects you in a group, hold eye contact and say nothing. Let the silence stretch. Let them sit inside the discomfort they created, and then watch what happens. People start fearing what they cannot read. They lose confidence. They second-guess themselves. They start adjusting around you because they no longer know what moves you, what hurts you, or what control they still have over you. That is where your power begins. The moment you become emotionally unreadable, you become strategically dangerous. No one can fully break a man they cannot figure out. No one can control someone who gives them nothing to control. Trick number 2. Let them overplay their hand. Most people, the moment they realize someone is playing dirty with them, make the same fatal mistake. They react too fast. They confront too early. They show anger before they have the full picture. They reveal suspicion before the other person has had time to expose the entire strategy, and in doing that, they lose the strongest advantage they had. Time. Machiavelli knew the wise man watches while others act. Because in action, people reveal themselves. Their motives leak out, their weaknesses show, their desperation becomes visible, their lies begin to contradict each other. This trick requires something rare: discipline. When someone is scheming against you, do not rush to stop them. Let them move. Let them talk. Let them build their little strategy with full confidence that you are unaware. Because the moment people feel safe, they get comfortable. And comfortable people get sloppy. They start telling the wrong people what they are doing. They start testing bigger boundaries. They start making bolder moves because they think you are asleep. They begin overplaying their hand, reaching further and further until their entire strategy is standing naked in daylight for you to study, map, and dismantle piece by piece. Understand this clearly. Patience here is not passivity, it is predatory. Think of a chessboard. The amateur lunges forward on the second move, desperate to attack, desperate to feel powerful. The grandmaster waits, quietly, patiently. Every piece is positioned with intention. Every pause is part of the trap. And by the time the opponent realizes what happened, the outcome was decided long before the final move appeared. That is how you handle dirty people. You do not rush. You do not panic. You watch. You gather. You let them dig with the same hands they thought they would use to bury you. And when they have gone far enough, when they have exposed every angle and burned through every trick they had, then you move, once, decisively, calmly, without wasted emotion. And it lands harder because they never saw it coming. They were too busy thinking you were not paying attention. Patience is not weakness. Patience is the predator's disguise. Trick number 3. Mirror their energy, then withdraw it. This is psychological warfare in its purest form. And when it is done right, it leaves the other person trapped inside their own mind. Here is how it works. When someone plays dirty with you, your first instinct is to resist, to push back, to create tension, to make it obvious that you see what they are doing. But visible resistance alerts them. It tells them the game has been detected. So sometimes the smarter move is not to oppose right away. Sometimes the smarter move is to mirror. If they are warm, be warm. If they are cold, be cold. If they give attention, return attention. If they pull back, let your energy match the rhythm. You become their reflection. And without realizing it, they start to feel understood by you. They start to feel connected to you. They start to believe they know where they stand with you. More dangerously, they start to believe they have some hold over you. That is exactly where you want them. Because the real weapon is not the mirroring, it is the withdrawal. Once they have grown used to your energy, once your presence has become part of their emotional rhythm, once they start expecting your attention, your warmth, your availability, you take it away. No fight, no drama. No announcement, no explanation. You simply become unavailable, distant, unreachable, and that is when their mind begins to collapse under the weight of your absence. Machiavelli understood that people rarely value what they have. They value what they lose. The moment your energy disappears, they start replaying every interaction. They start wondering what changed. They start searching for the moment the temperature dropped. They start chasing clarity, not because you asked them to, but because your absence becomes louder than your presence ever was. This works because it strikes one of the deepest weaknesses in human nature, the fear of loss. You are not being cruel. You are not performing revenge. You are simply letting them feel what it means to lose access to someone they underestimated, and that feeling stays with people. Long after arguments fade, long after excuses dry up, long after words stop mattering, you do not always need noise to leave a mark. Sometimes silence enters deeper than speech ever could. Trick number 4. Control the frame. Control the game. Every interaction you have with another human being happens inside a frame. A frame is the invisible structure that decides who holds the power, who is reacting, and who is leading. Most people never think about this. They walk into conversations, arguments, and confrontations completely unaware that the frame has already been set, and usually not by them. That is why they lose. When someone plays dirty with you, the first thing they do is establish a frame that benefits them. They frame you as the problem. They frame themselves as the victim. They shape the situation so that no matter what you say, you sound defensive, desperate, or guilty. And the moment you accept that frame, the moment you start explaining yourself inside their narrative, you have already lost the war. Machiavelli understood that power does not belong to the loudest man in the room. It belongs to the one who defines the battlefield. So from this moment forward, you do something different. You never argue inside someone else's frame, ever. When someone accuses you of something just to throw you off balance, you do not defend. You reframe. You shift the entire exchange onto your ground. If they call you selfish, you do not start listing everything you have done for them. You calmly ask why they feel entitled to your energy in the first place. If they say you have changed, you do not apologize. You let them feel the truth they were hoping to avoid. Growth always looks offensive to people who benefited from your weakness. If they accuse you of being cold, you do not rush to prove that you care. You let them understand that access to you was never supposed to be cheap. Do you see what is happening here? You are no longer reacting. You are redirecting. You are taking their arrow out of the air and sending it back with twice the force. You are refusing to stand trial in a courtroom they built just to make sure you arrived already guilty. This is what strong men understand. The person who controls the frame controls the emotional direction of the entire exchange. And the person who controls the emotional direction usually controls the outcome. So stop fighting inside cages other people build for you. Build your own frame. Stand inside it. Force the world to meet you there. The man who defines the game is rarely the man who loses it. Trick number 5. Make your silence louder than their noise. There is a weapon most people are terrified to use because it feels like doing nothing. It feels empty. It feels passive. It feels weak. But in the hands of a man who understands power, it becomes one of the most devastating tools in the entire arsenal. That weapon is silence. When someone plays dirty with you, they are expecting a reaction. They want you to argue. They want you to defend yourself. They want you to raise your voice so they can point at your emotion and use it against you. Every word you throw back becomes fuel for their fire. Every sentence gives them more material. Every explanation gives them another angle. But silence changes the whole game. Real silence, intentional silence, the kind that is not born from fear, but from control. Machiavelli observed that men who speak too much often reveal more than they realize. They reveal fear. They reveal insecurity. They reveal the need to be understood. And the moment that need becomes visible, manipulative people know exactly where to press. Silence removes that opening. When someone attacks you and you refuse to rush in with words, something strange begins to happen. The person making the noise starts to look louder, needier, and more unstable. Their attack begins to collapse under the weight of its own desperation. Meanwhile, your stillness grows heavier with every second. You become the stone. They become the storm wasting itself against it. Understand this clearly. Silence is not surrender. Silence is selection. You are not quiet because you have nothing to say. You are quiet because not everyone deserves access to your response. That is a different level of power. You let them accuse. You let them perform. You let them throw emotional knives into empty space while you remain untouched. And while they are spending themselves, you are preserving yourself. Nothing unsettles a manipulator more